Edgar Berlanga, a guy who's been lobbying for a big fight with Canelo, finally got his wish. He's going to be fighting Canelo September 14th, Mexican Independence Weekend in Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena. It's going to be crazy. I think you're going to be live and direct at that
will be there.
Absolutely. But, there's a lot going on, when this thing got announced, because there's a lot of fight fans that are actually crapping on this fight for a couple reasons. Number one, I think people are upset because the real fight that everybody wanted to see Canelo against was supposedly David Benavidez, right? So that's not happening. And then you got Edgar Berlanga, who is a guy that many think, skill-wise, isn't on the same level as Canelo. So many people are not expecting a competitive fight in this. But now that I've had a few days to marinate on it, for the fight fans that are crapping on it, there's one thing I got to tell you. It's here. It isn't going anywhere. Let's embrace it. Let's embrace it and hope for the best. Mexico against Puerto Rico. So I think it's going to get a lot of fanfare. I do think it's going to make some money. It's definitely going to make Berlanga some money. I mean, by far, I think this will be the biggest payday of his career. Bar none, right? Against boxing's biggest cash cow. Probably number 1, 2, or 3, depending on where you rank them pound for pound. But the question I have is, fight fans, they love excitement, right? I mean, they want to be entertained. So can this fight meet those expectations in your opinion, Jay? Talk to me.
Well, first of all, shout out to Berlanga for getting the fight. I'm trying not to be biased and everything like that, but I'm going to be truthful 100%. I am rooting for Berlanga, of course, not because he's Puerto Rican. I don't care about that. He's from my hometown. He's from Bushwick, Brooklyn, New York. So I got to represent my hometown guy. So I will be in Las Vegas for the fight. Berlanga, I interviewed this guy several times, but I interviewed him when he got with Top Rank, when he just signed with Top Rank. He had a fight here in Kissimmee, Florida, and I interviewed him. He was 11-0. He got his first round stoppage. He was during that streak, and he said it. I just posted the link on my IG and on my YouTube that, he said, I want Canelo Alvarez. He was like, that's the dream. That's the goal, and he was talking about it, that it was going to take 2 to 3 years before that goal happened. Fast forward, it's been 5 years now. And now he's finally accomplished that dream by getting that monster fight. He hit the lotto. A lot of people feel like he didn't deserve it. He has a great manager in Mike Conley. He has a great promoter now in Eddie Hearn. And of course, the politics of boxing put him in that position to get that fight opportunity. Everybody wants to see David Benavidez. I want to see David Benavidez more than this fight. David Benavidez is the most deserving fighter out of anybody out there that should fight, Canelo Alvarez. But Alvarez is boxing superstar. He's still the face of boxing. Not Tank Davis, not anybody else. Canelo Alvarez still commands pay-per-views, not as strong as he did previously back in the days, but he still commands more pay-per-views than everybody else right now. And he's still the face of boxing. People love to see him. The casuals like to see him. The hardcore boxing fans. He has a whole country behind him. So, he gets to pick and choose who he wants to fight. And it's not the ones that the fans want to see. We didn't really want to see him fight Munguia, and he fought Munguia. It was a good fight, And we're hoping that the Berlanga fight is also a good fight. Berlanga has the one thing, and that's the punching power. He has great punching power. He's young, he's big, he's strong, but he's never been truly tested, and he's never had a fight of this magnitude. Is he going to fold under pressure? I hope not. I hope he doesn't get blown out in 3 rounds because, most people feel that way, that he's going to get blown out the water very early, and just collect a payday, because the payday is massive. And, he's set for life. I'm happy for him with his family, and he's going to live in this moment. So I hope that he represents Brooklyn. I hope that he represents the Puerto Ricans, and he goes out there and he puts on at least a good showing where people are going to give him respect. And they're going to say he didn't win, but he gave us a good fight. He kind of rocked Canelo with his power, and you know he showed a dog in him that nobody has never seen before. That's what I'm hoping for. You know, if he wins, man, the sky's the limit, because it will be a huge upset in boxing, because Mexico versus Puerto Rico is massive. You know what I mean? It will be like when Salvador Sanchez beat the great, you know what I'm saying, Wilfredo Gomez, that, you know, Gomez was the destroyer. And everybody thought that he was going to destroy, you know, Sanchez. And it was Sanchez that pulled off the victory and beat Gomez. You know what I mean? That was like historical. So if Berlanga could sum some shit up where he could be able to hurt Canelo, who has an iron chin, and pull up an upset, bro, that goes down as one of the biggest upsets in boxing history for sure. We'll see if it happens, though, you know?
You know, Berlanga's young. You know, he's strong. You brought up a good point. He is a natural at that weight. Like, he's filled in very, very well. Problem is, like you said, I mean, I think the biggest name on his resume is Jason Quigley or Stevie Rolls. This is a massive step up for him. But he looks like he's ready. Like, he wants this fight. You know, he's already posting videos and IG of him working out. And, you know, I mean, he wants this fight. He wants his chance at greatness. At the end of the day, listen, if you go in with that mentality, train your ass off and go in there and give it your best shot. Nobody's realistically going to give him a chance to win. I mean, everybody's going to more than likely pick Canelo. I'm sure that, you know, the Puerto Rican fan base are going to come out. They're going to support Berlanga, but he just has to put up an admirable performance. You know, go out there and let it all out, man. You know, utilize your youth. Try to utilize your power. We are talking about a guy who realistically, I don't remember the last time he got hurt by a punch. It might have been in the early part of his career against Cotto's brother. I think that was the last time we truly saw Canelo, you know, hurt in a fight. And he's faced some bigger guys. I mean, he faced Triple G a couple of times when Triple G was blasting people out. So, in my opinion, he has the best chin in boxing. And Edgar Berlanga has to let his hands go. You know, he has to let his hands go, and he has to command some respect. You know, he can't allow Canelo to just walk him down, you know, and mentally and physically break him down. I mean, it's just not going to work. Like I said, he's never been in that smoke. Yeah, exactly.
I'm afraid that he's going to freeze under the lights. That's my biggest concern. You know what I mean? Like, the moment is going to be too big for him, and he's not going to let those hands go. He's going to look timid, and he can't be that way. You know, now it's war. Now it's like, you know, I'm going to disrespect you. I'm going to get into your face. I'm not going to act. I'm going to bring it, because I'm like, you made the wrong choice. You know, you picked me because you thought I was easy pickings. Now I'm going to show you the true side of me, and I'm going to get in your face. And he has to offset Canelo. You know what I mean? This nice guy shit, this praising shit can't be a factor. He has to be able to let them hands go and show no respect whatsoever, even leading up to the fight. You know what I mean? Start talking that shit. Start getting in his face. We saw that Jaime Munguia was all politeful leading up to the press conference and everything like that, because these guys have been waiting for this moment for so many years that they're grateful that they got the opportunity. And that's great to be grateful. You could be grateful after the fight. You could hug it out after the fight and tell them thank you for giving me this opportunity. But you got to be like Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford, you know what I'm saying, was talking that shit with Spence. I'm going to fuck you up. You know what I mean? Right. And he was telling his whole camp, I'm going to beat your boy's ass. And then at the end, when he did that, you know what I mean, he got everybody's respect. And then he told Spence, it was because of you I got this opportunity. So, you know, that's the way it should be. Berlanga has to let them hands go. He has to use that jab. That jab is a key factor against Canelo. We saw it with Bivol. Bivol controlled Canelo with the jab. He had the height, he had the movement, he had the jab. If Berlanga's going to move, run, whatever it is, he needs to stick that powerful jab in Canelo's face all night long and let them fucking hands go. Because if he doesn't, it's going to be a short fucking night for Berlanga.
He has to show a different wrinkle that he hasn't shown in any other fight. Like, his footwork, in my opinion, is questionable. And the thing with Canelo is, and you know, Jay, you've seen them plenty of times, you know, guys that move around in the ring tend to give him problems. You know, when he has to go and find a fighter, you know, those are the fighters that kind of frustrate him a bit. When you're not hard to find, those are the guys that are tailor-made for him. So I've seen Berlanga. He has a good jab. He just has to let it go. He has a good, strong jab. He just doesn't throw it enough, especially in his last couple of fights. He's got to be able to do that and try to set up that right hand. And who knows, like I said, this is boxing, man. Anything can happen in the sport of boxing. Canelo has a lot of miles on his tire. And, and I'm not trying to, hype up the fight. Right now, obviously, I would pick Canelo, to win this fight, obviously. 100%. But at the end of the day, like I said, anything can happen in the ring. I honestly, when it was first announced, I was kind of down on it too. But I'm actually looking forward to it now. I'm actually looking forward to it because he's a young, hungry guy. I just hope that his motivation for this fight isn't just to get the bag and be satisfied with getting the bag. Like I said, I hope that he's going to try his best to be great. And let's see what happens. Even in defeat, we've seen other fighters, right? You raise their stature, even in defeat, right? So he's to go on there, put together an admirable performance. And even in defeat, maybe he can, maybe he can gain some more notoriety or some more fans or whatever it is, because I know there's a lot of people that hate on Berlanga, but at the end of the day, you're right. I met him one time as well. He's a good guy. He's a good kid.
Humble. He's humble. He off the camera, he's humble. On the camera, he likes to talk. He likes to, it seems cocky and everything.
There's two sides to every fighter, right?
It turns people off and everything like that. So I could understand why people don't like him. And plus, it's like he was handed the shot. He didn't earn the shot. You know what I mean? And it's very true. It's very true. He didn't beat anybody. He didn't go through the Munguias. He didn't go through the Demechenkos. He didn't go through any of these guys. Right now, you got a fighter in Christian and Billy who's starting to gain some momentum and everything. Right after the Demachenko fight, he's lined up to fight Jaime Munguia. So right there, those two fights alone is going to prove his worth to see where he's at. Is he the real deal? Or he's just hyped because he's knocking guys out the way Berlanga was knocking guys out. So that's the path that Berlanga never got to do, was to go through the Demechenkos and the Munguias to earn the shot for Canelo.
Great point, because even though there were people that were really hyped up about, what was it, 17 straight wins, 17 first-round knockouts, 16, 17, I don't know if that was necessarily the right path, man. I mean, this, he needed rounds, and that's how young guys get better. 16 pro fights, 16 rounds of professional, work in the ring is not enough to build that skill set that you're going to eventually need to be elite. So either way, it looks like he's learning on the job right now. He's entered his grown man strength phase, right? I believe he's 27 years old, still young, but good, young, strong kid. Go out there and give it your best shot, and see what happens.